welcome to Caesar Snack Sandwich. Today I have a really quick video for you on VALIO. Now VALIO was put into my shield list. I've started to go through it again and see what's inside there. And it's one of the ones that was put in there quite some time ago. So here I am covering it. Now, as usual, I've gone through, I've read the docs. The docs is it's okay. You know, it's a work in progress. There's a little bit missing, but it can cover and kind of give you a good understanding of what's going on. So if you come and read the docs, you'll understand it pretty clearly. But I'm going to explain it to you pretty clearly so you can kind of understand what's going on here. Okay. So if we go over to, let's go here. Okay, so here is there are all of these different vaults, and if you look at some of the faces and pictures and stuff, you might recognize some of these people. Like I believe I follow Crypto Lynn here, and there might be some other people in here that you kind of recognize. Now these are all people who believe they can beat the market. Okay, so they all have some sort of like trading strategy or even like some strategies in, well, it's mostly trading, but trading strategies on how to beat the market and so forth. So as you can see, there's like the weekly performance, like how much they're up based on their portfolio and stuff like that. And if you go into say Crypto Lynn's here, and you kind of see like the protocols that she is focused on, or I believe it's she, and you can kind of deposit some of your assets, some USDC in here. You can basically lend her some of your assets and kind of like copy trade her. Okay, so if you think about it, like you're basically giving her some of your assets. They're custodied inside these VALIO smart contracts, so she can't just run off with them, but she can perform actions with your assets, like trading on all kinds of different things. Okay, so here I have kind of started a little like a little vault. I'm not going to actually deploy this, but I'll go through the steps. So, you know, you can put some pictures, you can describe your strategies, what kind of sort of things you're going to do. And then there's this thing called this CPIT. Now, this is the most important thing that you have to kind of think of. This is like your level of risk, okay? Because these contracts allow you to trade perps. They allow you to trade spot. In the future, they're going to allow you to trade options on like a Premia, and then they also allow you in the future to like deposit some of your assets that you're like idle assets basically into Yearn vaults. Okay, so what makes this thing important? This thing is kind of like the vault's slippage tolerance. Okay, if you think of it that way, like if one of the ways that these kinds of vaults can be exploited is let's say Crypto Lynn takes a position on some spot shitcoin and then comes with the vault and buys the crap out of that shitcoin and has a whole bunch of price impact on that shitcoin, and then she takes her wallet and sells to that pump, right? So that would be obviously like an exploit, or like or some sort, like maybe like taking advantage of the assets that were lent to her to like transfer that value from the vault to her personal wallet. So this thing, what this thing does is every time she tries to do a trade, it checks the price impact tolerance. Okay, so like if that trade is having a larger, like for example, I've set mine to 3. If my trade has a 3% impact or more on the price today, then the trade will not execute. It'll revert. Okay, so it's kind of like that. So when you go to those vaults, right, and you see like, oh, she has a high, so she has 12%. So, and then if you go to some of these other ones, he has low and medium. So you can kind of see, oh, like if I put my money in here, I'm trusting him that he's not going to do some shady spot stuff, less than I'm trusting that she will do it. Okay. Now there's also this thing here where it says manager stake. So how much money of this, what percentage of this vault is her money? And as you can see, he's like pretty much, it's all his money in there. So which is quite nice. Like you can kind of see like how much money they've got in there as well. Because if he had high here and she had high in this percentage, he would be much less risky because he would be then, you know, exploiting it's all mostly his capital, right? So you can kind of think of those two things, and let's move on. So this is this price impact tolerance. Okay. Now there are two kinds of fees. There's management fee and performance fee. I'm not really a big fan of management fees, but basically the difference between these is performance fee is if the vault has more assets in it than deposits, then there is a possibility for a performance fee. If you think about it, like it's it's yield. They can take up to 50% of the yield on that vault. So again, when you go to these vaults, you kind of have to check the management fee and the performance fee and find out what are they taking. Now the management fee is like assets under management. So if she has $100 in here, she's going to be taking $2 throughout the year. So, and it's block by block by block. So they'll take that $200, they spread it out over a year, and then every block she can take whatever that fraction of that cent is, right? Okay, so I'm moving on, and then the last one is just kind of like check your stuff and create your vault. Now let's go over to the docs and kind of go through where in the docs. Where are we? So if you go into here and you can kind of see the choices that this manager has, okay? So one of the things that they can do is they can actually bridge the assets from Arbitrum to Optimism to Ethereum and perhaps more chains in the future. So like they can actually, these contracts are also deployed on these other chains. So if they want to use something on Optimism, then the vault they can borrow the money from that vault, take it to Optimism, and do those trades, right? They have spot trades. So if we go here, you can see like it's got its own little UI. I'm not sure where these spots are going through. I would suspect, I would assume that it's an aggregator, like going through maybe Llama Swap or something, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, so it says here Omnichain DEX aggregator. So I believe it's using a DEX aggregator per se. So this is where they can actually trade spot with your capital, right? Perpetuals, so GMX, Quanta, Perps V2, so they can use these perpetuals, and then like I said, options will come in the future with Premia, and well, there is 0x here, right? Well, that's spot trading, sorry. Yeah, so I guess just Premia in the future, and then Yearn will be in the future as well. So there are some seasons, and I assume there's some points and stuff in there. There's, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of information here on seasons, but they do have like kind of like, oh, what happened in season 1 or season 0, and then and so forth. Now they do use the layer 0 logo because they're using layer 0 for those cross-chain bridging and stuff like that. Okay, so I hope this has been interesting. It's kind of something you can kind of check out. You know, again, I'm just doing a little introduction. You can go dig deeper and find out if this is something that's interesting to you. And you know, as always, read the docs, go to the Discord, ask more questions and all that. And thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.